Stipe has to pull out. Tom Aspinall's there with his interim belt. Champion versus champion, Madison fucking Square Garden. And Jon Jones has the balls, and it is balls, to say, fuck you.
I think he would. I think he would say no. I think he would say no.
Daniel Cormier says, if either of them gets hurt and can't make it to the fight, we do have the backup fighter of Tom Aspinall. He says neither one of them are going to agree to fight Tom on short notice. Which is...
Stipe will.
You think so?
Jon will not.
You think he won't?
I don't think Jon will. No, I don't. I think DC's spot on there. Stipe will. Anytime I've ever had conversations about this kind of stuff with Stipe, he doesn't... I know that I think in this whole media world, and not just you and I, but the media in general and the UFC and everyone that talks about it, they make it seem like Stipe really gives a shit. He doesn't really give a shit. He's barely a fighter. Like, he doesn't have the mentality of a fighter unless he's in there actively fighting. He doesn't talk about fights. He doesn't really watch them that much. He trains every single day, but he's just not immersed in this world at all. Like, he wants to beat Jon because everyone else says that Jon is the best. He couldn't care less about Jon Jones. He just doesn't. Like, whether it's Jon or it's Tom Aspinall, he's going to train about the same. It's not going to really change much. He has that mentality where it's not about what that guy's going to do and how I'm going to react to it. His whole mindset is flipped. Here's what I'm going to do, and he has to deal with it. That's how Stipe's mindset has always been. So whether it's Jon or whether it's Tom, it doesn't change anything for Stipe.
Yeah, and you know what? I agree with that. I don't know Stipe like you do, but those are the kind of vibes that he gives off, and that is total security.
I'm jealous of it a little bit.
It's content as well. It's like, it's not my identity. I am who I am. Yeah, okay. I was the champion of the world, and I want to be that. I want to beat Jon Jones, and yes, I want everything that comes with it. But I've made some money. I've done my thing. I'm a fireman. I'm a regular guy. I'm a blue collar guy. I've got money in the bank. I've got a wife. I've got children. I'm not concerning myself with this circus on social media and all of this bullshit. I'll be out doing my thing. I'll be looking after my family. And then when the time's right, I'll jump on a plane. I'll fly to New York and I'll fight the greatest fighter that's ever lived. And if I beat him, whoop the do. And if I don't, well, so be it.
Yeah, and if I don't, then whatever. Even after he lost to DC, I was waiting for like this profound moment. Like, well, what do you think? What are you going to do? What if you don't get the fight? And like, he just doesn't care. He's like, yeah, then I don't get it. Like, well, then what are you going to do? I don't know. Maybe I won't fight. Maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see what they say when they call. And if he feels it, strength. Yeah, and if they call and he's like, nah, I don't really like that, he just won't do it. And he doesn't argue, he doesn't complain, he doesn't really push like insane negotiations. Like, he doesn't try to like finesse his way around things. He just, whatever. So like, people are making it seem like he just sat out and he waited and he just, got, and complained to get this Jon fight. He was just content doing whatever he was doing. And then Jon brought it up. So he said, yeah, whatever, I'll do that. And if he doesn't do that, then he doesn't do that.
Could you imagine the shit storm if Jon Jones, if Stipe gets sick fight week, legitimately, it's November, it's New York.
Right.
He gets the flu. He stubs his toe. He pulls a Tony Ferguson and blows out his ACL at the Fox Studios. Shit goes wrong, right? Whatever it is, Stipe has to pull out. Tom Aspinall's there with his interim belt. Champion versus champion, Madison fucking Square Garden. And Jon Jones has the balls, and it is balls, to say, fuck you.
I think he would. I think he would say no. I think he would say no. And not for nothing, Jon Jones never puts himself at a disadvantage. Ever. You can hate him for it, or you can look at it as a strategic approach to your career. He never puts himself at a disadvantage. He never is going to let someone have one over on him. Not before it even starts. Once he's in there, Jon's a dog. And it's actually not that much of a different matchup.
No,
I think Tom's a better grappler, probably a more willing, stronger wrestler. But in terms of their striking and their movement and their speed, like I think Tom is the evolution of Stipe. Like I think he's just added on to what Stipe did. I think but they're in the same vein, at least in my opinion. I just don't think Jon would. I don't think he would.
No, I don't think he would either. And one would,
and that's not me saying anything about his toughness. It's just historically he won't. Historically he won't.
No, you're right, because that is what a proper manager would more than likely advise you to do.
Right.
Could you imagine like Rocky, Apollo Creed's manager going, well, the Italian stallion got sick, so we're going to get this guy from down the street. They'd be like, no, f that. No way. He's out. I have who? Fight who?
Right. Well, and some of this is Jon's mentality too. Like you've heard him do interviews or at least have short conversations about how he obsesses over his opponents. It's actually one of the biggest disadvantages, in my opinion, for Stipe, for this fight being stretched out longer, because it's given Jon more time to think about it, more time to analyze it, more time to dig into it, more time to continue to watch the film over and over and over. Jon is obsessive. I remember seeing an interview somewhere where like he'll like stalk, like back in the day, he used to like stalk his opponent's Facebooks, and he would like read through their everyday life. Like he wants to know who they are. So that quick flip doesn't give him enough time in his head to make it okay with him. Like he doesn't have enough time to adjust and to feel like he knows that person. So he doesn't think he could beat that person on that shorter notice. He's not comfortable with the matchup because and that's my opinion from just the things that Jon has said and the things that his coaches have done interviews and talked about before. It's just too quick for him to adjust to the change mentally to the new person. I don't necessarily think it's a skill set thing. Mm-hmm.
I said he would have the balls
100%
to say no. And what I mean by that is, and this, like, I'll give another good example of something similar. You're under immense pressure. The UFC have put this fight on. They've delayed it for a year. The fans are all waiting for it. You've got an interim champion in the weight, right, in the wings. The pressure to, if Stipe got injured, to say, yeah, I'm going to take that fight, would be so hard to go against, right?
Oh,
it would take somebody special. The entire world's gravitational pull, everything, the UFC, the might of them, the paychecks, the millions of dollars, the fans, the social media, everything. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. Most people would take it. Jon Jones, and it sounds weird to say he would be man enough, but he would be strong enough as an individual to say, no, I'm not getting bullied into that situation.
His coaches, his training partners, the people that are expecting to get paid off of that, his management team.
Oh yeah, coaches, managers.
Yeah, like they're the marketing people
buying tickets for the event.
Right, your family. You probably flew your kids out.
Sales.
Pulled your kids out of school.
Like, you got the UFC side. They pay for hotels and flights and all the rest of it. But like the main thing is like, yeah, the UFC are going to lose tons of money. But like he personally is going to get shit off fans, all the fans that have flown in and all the rest of it. And he was still
look what Conor got. Look what Conor got from pulling out of that fight with a broken toe. People are still trashing him for that.
Yeah.
It's
right fucking.
But you're right. Jon would have, I mean, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but it's going to come off that way. Jon is so used to people shitting on him that I don't think it would bother him.
Water off a duck's back.
Right. He was like, yeah, whatever. Like they already, like I've lost fans before and I'll get them back. Like he's just used to kind of being the brunt of bad news.
And some people might say that's a bitch move. You're a pussy. But that's having the balls to say, hold on a minute. And then, by the way, I'm not advocating for Jon Jones to do this and saying that I understand why. What I'm saying is it's really hard in these kind of situations to be like, no, I'm going to do what is best for me. I'm not here to do what's best for you, the fans, or the company, or whatever. I'm going to do me. And right now, I think what's best for me is if I fight Tom Aspinall after a full camp, just like he did with Chael Sonnen. And who stepped in at the last minute? Was it because they tried Dan Henderson? Oh, it was meant to be Dan Henderson.
Yeah.
Then it was Chael Sonnen. Oh, then they brought in Vitor.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's kind of always been the knock on Jon, is that he'll always do what's best for himself.
Well, and that gets called selfish.
Yeah.
But is it?
You can count on Jon to always do what's in his best interest.
Yeah.
Always. That's not always a positive across every facet of your life. But in his career, you can guarantee he's going to do what's best for him. And I can't fault him for that.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet and the not so secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts that go abandoned and way more sales going on. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell when your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, on their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. All you got to do is go to shopify.com/believe, all lowercase. You can sign up for $1 per month for a trial period, and you will be up and running. You'll be online. You'll have your website. You'll have the major payment methods. You'll be bloody selling to everybody all over the world and hopefully making a killing.